This is the town of Thebes. It's in Greece. It's a great place with lots of mountains and some rivers as well. Yeah, that's great. It's a great place. So that's where our story will be taking place. Thebes is always known as having some great crops, such as apples and grapes, and a lot of happy people and a lot of babies. But unfortunately, those all kind of died, and Thebes is in a bad place. So this ruler, Oedipus, realized that something needed to be done, and so he gathered the people of Thebes and was like, hey, like, we have to fix this, obviously. And they're like, of course we do, but the only way to do it, unfortunately, was to kill or exile Laius's murderer. And Laius was the old king, so they're going to have to figure that out really quickly so everything could be put back into place and justice could be found. But, and we're just hoping that everyone does it because it's what needs to be done. So Oedipus heard that he needed to fix this, obviously, as established before. And so he thought that it would be a great idea to call this Tiresias guy, who was an oracle. So he was basically going to say what needed to be fixed. And so Tiresias comes in. Unfortunately, Tiresias is blind, though, so we will see here that he has to wear some nifty sunglasses because that's what blind people wear. And so Tiresias is here, and Oedipus thinks that Tiresias is going to help, but that's not what happens, and you'll see a little further. So Tiresias actually becomes very hostile and attacks Oedipus and blames him and says that you killed Laius, he is claiming that Laius is Oedipus's father when Oedipus is like, no. And if Laius was Oedipus's father, then Laius would have married his mother, which is Jocasta, which is just all sorts of incest and wrong in every way. So right now he's denying it. He's saying that his dad is in Corinth, but here Tiresias is saying that his dad is Laius. So we have a bit of confusion going on right now. See? Tiresias just won't believe him. He's speaking the truth. And now we have this big conflict that's going on and needs to be figured out. All right, so we're drawing Oedipus again because he's in every scene of the play. And so he's standing there. This is his wife, Jocasta, Jocasta was also married to Laius, who is Oedipus's supposed father, which would make Jocasta Oedipus's mother as well, which we've already said was incest, and it's extremely wrong. So right now, Oedipus is just trying to explain to Jocasta what happened, what Tiresias said. And Jocasta's like, no, that's not true. So we'll just wait and see what happens there, because these characters like to talk a lot, I guess. Everyone's in denial, I guess. So right now, Jocasta is saying that she did try to kill her son because her son was destined to kill Laius. So it's just very weird, as you can tell. Jocasta trying to kill her own son because he was going to kill Laius, as established already. So right now, I believe Oedipus is coming to a realization of some sort that he had a prophecy also to kill his father, which he just thought was crazy. And his father was in Corinth, and he never killed his father. So, but he did actually kill this other guy that we're not really sure who. So, I mean, I'm sure things are going to play themselves out eventually. Yep, so Oedipus is just saying that he killed a man at a crossroads, and Jocasta's like, yeah, well, Laius died at a crossroads, and you know, how many crossroads is there in Thebes? So I guess we'll see. These are just some chatty characters we have. Uh-oh. I hope we have a flashback maybe soon. Might explain some things.
What's his name? You killed Liz?
Uh-oh. Things might be bad for these two ancestral lovers. Ancestral as an incest, not ancestor. Oh, look, it's the flashback that we were talking about. It's happening right now. Or, as it happened back then, it's happening right now. So, I think, yep, so there's the crossroads. There's Oedipus, there's Laius. But Oedipus didn't know that this was Laius at the time, but they seem to have gotten in some sort of altercation, and things just led to one thing, led to another. There was fighting. As you can see, Laius punched Oedipus. Oedipus punches Laius. But in the end, Oedipus wins and kills Laius, which he doesn't really know at the time. But now it seems as though we're making that connection. That does mark the end of our flashback, so we'll see what happens next. Alright, so once again, here we have Gwozdz, and she's like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad. I gotta go talk to the shepherd, though, that I sent to kill my baby. Like, he'll know, because he's gonna prove that the baby actually died and that it wasn't you. And Oedipus is like, you know what, like, if you say so. But he's thinking, he's like, wasn't he, like, supposed to kill me? Like, was the shepherd supposed to kill Oedipus? Because Oedipus is getting some weird feelings now. Like, his mom may or may not have, who may or may not be Gwozdz, may or may not have sent a shepherd to kill him, which is just wrong in all sorts of ways. The moral values are just really screwed up in this play. So here's the shepherd. As you can see, he has sheep with him. And Gwozdz is, like, questioning this guy. He's like, you killed the son, like I asked you to, right? And this guy's like, oh yeah, definitely. But you can't tell in the picture, but there's definitely some sarcasm in his tone. And Oedipus just wants to make sure, so he asks again. He's like, did you actually kill him? And the shepherd, like, cracks under pressure. He's like, maybe. I don't know. Seems just to be a series of questions that need to be answered. But, like, Gwozdz has come to the realization that the shepherd probably didn't kill his son, and she's like, you know what, let's just not go any further. But as you can tell, things just keep escalating. And we have another flashback coming to you live.
What does this messenger say again? Those weren't even your parents.
Alright, so this flashback illustrates Gwozdz right here. Here's the shepherd with his sheep, once again, his trusty sheep. And here's the baby that Gwozdz is about to give to the shepherd to kill the baby. And the shepherd's like, all right, like, she's a pretty gal. I'll just do whatever she wants me to.
Oh,
So now the shepherd has the baby. And he obviously has some great morals, because he's like, I can't kill this child. So what does he do? Oh, by the way, this child has feet that is attached to the board because he was supposed to throw him in the river and then he wouldn't be able to swim. So instead of throwing this poor, helpless baby into the river, he decided to give it to a great family that he knew, whose parents, I think they went by Polybus and Merope. So these were the two parents that Oedipus would grow up with, thinking that they were blood related when really they weren't. So they were going to live in a great town of Corinth, and that's the life that Oedipus thought that was true when really it wasn't. So this lovely couple adopts Oedipus and brings him in as his own. And that was the end of that flashback. So This next scene basically shows the realization of Jocasta and Oedipus, coming to the conclusion that the fate was true, that Oedipus probably did actually kill Laius, his father, as Jocasta is now asking him if he has scars on his feet, because obviously the baby who was attached to the board would have had scars on his feet, which would have meant that Oedipus was her son. But let's not forget that if Oedipus is her son, then she married her son, which is all sorts of creepy. So now Oedipus is realizing that it's him, which is just heart-wrenching for him and hard for him to come to, but he knows that he has to exile himself because that is the only way for Thebes to fix all of its problems. So it's really, really bad. And Jocasta, I think, has some suicidal thoughts as well, but I guess we'll see what happens with that. So here's Jocasta, dead in her bedroom for, she hung herself because obviously she realized that her plan of killing her child didn't really work out, so it all just came back to bite her in the butt, and she was too much for her, so she took her own life. Oedipus hasn't found her yet, though. He will, and now he has found her, and he's just really, really distraught about this. He's very sad over the loss of not only his wife, but his mother as well. It's a pretty horrible time for him. So, because he was so blinded by his true fate, and he couldn't even tell what happened, he thought that he just deserved to be actually blind, so he takes a knife and stabs himself in the eye. He's a bit dramatic. And so, as you can see here, he's stabbing himself in the eye. And now he is unfortunately blind like our friend Tiresias. So once again, now Oedipus has the snazzy glasses. It's just very trendy style. So now he's like, yeah, I'm leaving because that's what I said people needed to do. I'm going to follow through with my word. But there's this guy, Creon, who sneakily has been wanting to kind of be ruler, but now is really his time, so Creon's going to take over power for Oedipus, and Oedipus is going to leave Thebes. And that really concludes the play of Oedipus Rex. What a tragic, tragic story. Thank you.